What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Brunch with DESB. I am so excited for today's episode. Let me tell you what, we are going to be jumping right into it, okay? There's no time to spare. There's no tea to spill besides my birth story. I'm so excited to have you guys here to listen to it, to be a part of it. And at the end of the day, you guys saw me grow for 9 months on this podcast. The least I can do is share how the baby came out of my vagina. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I owe it to you guys. I overshare quite literally everything else in my life. Why would I not share how I didn't tear? Okay, I wanted it to rhyme. I'm very excited to share this story. Honestly, I think birth stories are so fun. So strap the fuck up, because if there's one thing I do, I make short stories long, and I will never make a long story short, okay? So even though I could probably tell you the synopsis of my birth story within 10 minutes, give or take, or shit, even 30 seconds on an elevator, I'm gonna take my fucking time, okay? So lock in, get ready, sit down, grab a drink, grab your snacks, okay, whatever you need. I'm going to take you all the way back to 2 weeks ago. Now, before we get into that, the only thing I do want to say is that we have quite the catch-up episode next week, okay? I want to talk to you guys about Vanderpump Rules. I want to talk to you guys how postpartum recovery has been going. I want to talk to you guys about some launches, some exciting things, okay? I will say, though, just to preface, we do have a new Buff Bunny collection launch coming on the 27th. It's the Juicy collection. It's really cute, and actually I'm pretty excited because I think I will be able to fit into the clothes, which is exciting. Okay. We also did have Petula launch last week. I have this limited edition creamsicle color on. Really love it. Super cute. You guys know I ride for Petula. Like, honestly, I've said it every episode. I have not been more astounded by a brand than Petula over the last year and a half. They have just really come up like a thief in the night, you know, like a phoenix rises from the ashes. That is Petula. Okay. As always, you can use code DESB. And the last thing I'll say is, if you haven't yet subscribed, giving this video a thumbs up if you're on YouTube, give me a 5-star rating, please, Lord, please. Okay. I do this podcast purely for funsies. And the more support I get, maybe I'll get an opportunity of like having more ad space or getting picked up by someone. Probably not. I think I cuss too much. I'm not sure. But you know what? I don't give a fuck. All right. I do like coming on here, and it's fun and it's therapeutic for me. Probably not where I should be seeking therapy. You know, I should probably talk to my actual therapist on BetterHelp, but we will use this as a tool. Okay. So first and foremost, where did this even begin? You guys saw last week's video. You saw I was super uncomfy. Okay. I was starting to have these contractions, but I will tell you, I was about 38 weeks and 5 days. And I had what was called, I think it's called, dude, I'm blanking. It's a P word. It's basically fake labor. Periodontal. There we go. I had to say it like that. Periodontal labor. Kind of sounds like something you'd hear off of Jurassic Park, but like we're just going to skeet by that. So periodontal labor is basically the art of your body quite literally going into labor and then like stopping. Okay, like it's almost like this false labor that a lot of women will even go to hospitals for. They'll freak out about, and then out of nowhere, it just stops. Okay, so I woke up at like 2 a.m. one night. I was having literal contractions. I went up, went to pee. It was about an hour and a half of this. Okay, I was genuinely like, do I need to wake Wyatt up? I don't know what this feels like. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, stops. It just stops. I noticed I was kind of drifting in and out of sleep, and the contractions, quote unquote, weren't waking me up anymore. So during that time, what typically the body can end up doing is it can start to like kind of dilate, right? So as you're having Braxton Hicks that turn into contractions, still kind of Braxton Hicks, they're kind of confusing. That is what gets your body ready. Your cervix starts to open, you start to efface, etc. Okay. So I had that. And after that, I felt super defeated. Not that I wanted to deliver my baby before like 39 weeks. I didn't want to have like a 38-week baby. I just, let them cook. Let them cook. They already come out looking ugly enough. Okay. Give them the 40 weeks. Give them the 39 and a half weeks. I'm okay with that. With that, I was still discouraged though, because I was like, man, what if I don't know my body enough? What if I actually don't know? So from there, I was really pissed off the whole weekend. Like that was on like a Thursday or Friday. I mean, don't fucking talk to me until Monday. I was hanging on to it. I was clinging on to that experience because it also freaked me out of like, like I said, do I not know my body enough to be able to go, oh, that was a contraction or that wasn't? It was disheartening. I will tell you that much. So once I kind of got over it on Monday, I would say, remind you, it's Monday. I ended up having her on Thursday at 12:30 in the morning. Okay. So Monday to, let's call it Wednesday night. Okay. That's when I started laboring. Monday, I was like, okay, I'm just going to let this take its course. I have another prenatal appointment on Wednesday. On Friday, I had a membrane sweep. Okay, so that was my first membrane sweep. We talked about it last episode anyways. Not the most comfortable thing. And it's amazing the amount of women who were like on one of my posts who don't even know me, who were shaming the idea of getting a membrane sweep, calling it like an induction and like you're harming the baby and the baby's not fucking ready. Anything you fucking do, unless the baby is ready, it will not work. Unless you're genuinely being induced like at the hospital, right? If you're doing dates, red raspberry leaf tea, the Miles circuit, all this stuff, you can get the baby in optimal position. But if the baby is still not ready to come out, nothing's going to just like magically put you into labor. Okay. I even thought about doing that. I think it was called like a midwife's brew and it had like castor oil and shit in it. And then I got really scared of doing that. So I didn't do any other encouraging labor tactics. Okay. I stood really in my ground of just like, I'm going to keep stretching. I'm going to curb walk. I'm going to do things to get this baby in prime position. I'm not going to try to like force it out, you know. Fast forward from Friday to Monday, I was like, okay, I have another prenatal appointment on Wednesday, so I'm just going to hold out. I do not want to get induced. I would love to have this spontaneous experience. I'm just going to vibe with it. So Monday, Tuesday kind of passes. It's Tuesday night. I go on a walk with my mom and my sister. I'd been doing like probably 3-mile walks at the end of the night a few times a week with my mom and just kind of trying to get my mind off of it as well as just like kind of talk to her and you know, bitch about it because at the end of pregnancy, it's annoying. Okay. I don't care how grateful you are that you're pregnant. It could have been also you trying to conceive for like a really long time and you're grateful that it finally happened. It doesn't mean that your experience can't be hard. And I feel like a lot of people who do struggle with infertility or, you know, had a miracle baby and a rainbow baby, they feel like they cannot, quote unquote, complain about pregnancy. And I feel like that's so wrong because no matter who it is, whether you prayed for this baby over everything in your life or not, it can still be hard. The physical toll, the mental toll that pregnancy plays in your life and on your body is no joke. So to be by the end of it, be like, I want to meet my kid. I'm fucking done with this. It's okay. And I just want to say that because it pisses me off when people are like, oh, if you don't like being pregnant, it's not for you. If you don't like being pregnant, you're not going to be a good mom. You need to have patience. You need to blah, blah, blah. You need to suck my dick. Okay, because you have no idea what my pregnancy was like, what it was like on my body, how I felt, where my mental health is, where even relationships around me are, XYZ. This thing could have taken a toll on a lot of things. So if I want to be antsy and excited, also just like genuinely excited about meeting my kid, suck a dick, okay? In the words of Kristen Doty, you know what I mean? This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. I talk about BetterHelp a lot, seeing as that it's benefited me in the past 2 years. Some people think, you know, maybe, oh, things have to get really bad until you can go to therapy. You're like, I'm not depressed. Why do I need therapy? But really, therapy is a tool to where you're using it before things were to get worse and to avoid being at your lowest low. I don't know about you, but why the fuck would you want to get to your lowest low before you climb out to the top again, right? BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video and even live chat sessions with your therapist. You don't have to see anyone on your camera. You don't have to wear pants. You don't even have to put on pajamas. You could be naked wherever you're at and do a therapy session with your therapist. So for me personally, I like to put my AirPods in. I'll walk around my desk room. I'll go for a walk outside when it's nice out, whatever it may be. And that's what works for me. It is customizable and it is more affordable than most in-person therapy. Give it a try. See why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp Online Therapy. And girls, don't forget to get on BetterHelp.com/DESB and put in that discount code. If you forget that, you do not get that 10% off your first month. And that is the deal with being a listener of Brunch with Desb. Fast forward, I'm taking walks, whatever. I start getting these contractions on Tuesday night, and I was like, okay, why are these like hurting? is it going to happen tonight? Oh my God, is this happening? Is this happening? That's all I kept thinking, right? Like I would go all day without thinking about it. And then I would get like these few Braxton Hicks or contractions and it would make me spiral. I'd start to get kind of excited and anxious and then they would just stop. So Tuesday, I felt like it did continue all the way up until I laid down, which is usually common because your body can relax. Well, Wednesday, I woke up feeling pretty normal, went to my prenatal appointment at 9:15 in the morning. Not that it matters, just get an idea of timeline. I go in there. I did consent to getting a cervical check. So I will say that the experience I had with cervical checks this time around in my pregnancy was so amazing. All of my providers were so, I don't want to make it weird and say like gentle, but they were just so kind, right? They would always tell me before they were going to check me. They would always say, are you okay for me to check you now? Are you ready? Do you mind if I begin the procedure? They would always like call it a procedure or whatever. They were so kind. And I just always felt like I knew what was going on with my body, which I didn't have the first time in my experience with Maddox. So that's why I really I was scared to always get cervical checked again because I was unconsented. How would you say it? I was non-consentful for my cervical check with Maddox. However, it was like a dire emergency situation. It was just very traumatic. So they were always very good. I was like, yes, you can check me. Because at this point, I kind of want to know where I'm at. I've never done this quote unquote spontaneously. And I want to know, like, how does it feel to be walking around at, a 3 centimeter XYZ? So finally she checks me. I will kill myself over this forever. She says I'm a stretchy 4. Like the shudder that came out of my body. A stretchy 4. I was like, she did say I was more effaced. So what did I do in between Friday and Wednesday? I will tell you, because Friday I was about 3 centimeters, 20 to 30% effaced. Wednesday, I was almost, let's call it 5 centimeters, and I was 60% effaced. So what did I do between those times to get my effacement going, right? The cervix starts to kind of like, if you want to call it disintegrate, kind of like Theranos, like just snapping his fingers. The cervix starts to disintegrate, and that's what we call effacement, okay? So the baby can start to descend down. So what did I do? Number one, I'm not going to lie, I did have quite a bit of sex. It was, I can't say I'm going to sit here and be like, it was the most pleasurable thing ever, because there's only like one position you could do at this point, and it was just kind of like, okay, like it still felt great. I didn't feel weird or anything, but it was like, you couldn't really get off. Whatever, Did have sex because sex, sperm has, I think it's called prostaglandins, if that's how I'm pronouncing it, which are agents that kind of act to also ripen the cervix naturally. So boom, okay. Had a lot of sex. Red raspberry leaf tea, continued dates. I did a lot of pineapple juice, ate a lot of pineapple, and was there anything else that I really did? Oh, I started taking gentle birth tincture. Okay. I do kind of low-key swear by this. Okay. I'll put it in the description box below. It's on my Amazon. This is another really great supplement to just help the body prepare for delivery. It's got some nice herbal things in it, etc. It's not some like woo-woo shit. It has, good kind of like herbs in it to kind of get your body going, and get your body ready for, quote unquote, a gentle birth. Okay. So those are the only things I did differently, from Friday to Wednesday. And I will say it definitely made a difference with how much sex I had. Okay. Like I'm going to be so for real with you guys. All right, so then Wednesday comes around, prenatal appointment. She checks me again. She tells me I'm a 5. I was stretchy 4 or 5, right? So after that, she says, you could probably have a baby tonight, or tomorrow, or I will say by the weekend. She does do another membrane sweep. It wasn't as bad. I think I was less tense. Like genuinely, I was just like, I was just kind of breathing through it, because I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's so comfortable. It's like the best fingering of your life. It's not. It's like scraping the inside. It's not fun. And it's not just like a fucking cotton swab, right? Like their fingers are in there. The one thing I will say is I'm so glad that none of these needed like a speculum, because those freak me the fuck out. I could pass out after a speculum, okay? So anyways, use your finger, whatever. She's like, you could probably have a baby tonight, tomorrow, or by the weekend. And she said, I wouldn't tell you that my membrane sweep would really make a difference either. Like your body is just doing it. So I'm like, fuck yeah, body's doing it. All right. Now this is where it gets kind of funny, because she's telling me this, you could have a baby, whatever. And when I think of stuff like going in me or out of me, I do get kind of fainty. That's why I don't use menstrual cups. That's why I don't like it. It can make me like, woo, kind of queasy, which is weird because I understand I'm a woman. I have a woman's body. And it still just makes me kind of like, oof. So she tells me that I start feeling myself getting a little bit nauseous. sitting there. I'm like, yep, okay, thank you so much. I get up. All right. By the way, I'm going to be honest, transparency moment. We were running late and I didn't eat breakfast. Okay. So that's on me. This is probably why. But regardless, I go out in the waiting room, get myself signed up for a stress test. So if I did go over 40 weeks, I had to get a stress test. I had to get an ultrasound. And they also scheduled an induction for me on July 9th. So I was really hoping I would have a baby before July 9th. So I get out in the car. My husband, Wyatt, you guys know him, calls my mom and he's like, hey, we just got the membrane sweep, starts updating her, right? I'm in the passenger seat, like I'm starting to fade, dude. I'm like, I'm fucking hot. Wyatt, can you turn on the AC? Like, I need air on me. Oh my God, I need air. Like I was going rogue. MIA, my brain gone, my body fucking gone. Okay. Like I was getting so queasy. I think I just started getting kind of scared because I was like, holy fuck, I could have this baby. Am I going to be ready? Am I going to know? Like I just started overthinking everything and it made me nauseous. So Wyatt stops at the gas station, skirts over, gets me some chocolate milk and a Bella Vita bar. and then we headed out to breakfast. So it was a nice slow morning. At this point, I was prepared for like delivery at any day. So let me tell you, I was doing whatever I wanted. Okay. Like I was prepared to just relax R&R. So we get to breakfast, you know, we're sitting there and I actually ran into one of my mom's friends at breakfast and she goes, aren't you due like any day? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, oh my gosh, you still look so high, like my belly. Now I was wearing my Free People like onesie, so like you can't really tell where my belly's sitting, but I was like, girl, hi, I feel low as hell. But also I think it went to show like how different I was carrying this pregnancy. Like it did look different even to me. But I tried not to get too in my head of like, oh, that means it could be a girl. It means it could be a, you know, boy, whatever. So we go about our day, whatever. My dad brings over dinner later that night. I do my check-ins. I talk to my clients. I'm on video, you know, hey guys, like whatever. I eat an olive burger. Again, not that this matters. It's just it was my final meal. Okay. Let me fucking tell you. It was an olive burger. Love olive burgers with jalapenos on it. We know spicy food can be helpful. And then I had fries. And I was just sitting there. I was still just kind of pissed off. I'm bouncing on my ball. I'm eating my dinner my dad brought over. And I'm like, I want this over with. You know, like I want to just know. I want to just do it. So I go all of a sudden. It's like 8:00. Wyatt's like, why don't you just go lay down, Des? Just get the fuck out of here. Like go sit down. Be by yourself. Relax. I'm like, okay, you're right. So I go sit down. I just got done like taking a shower. Blew out my hair. Like, so you guys know I was staying strapped, staying ready. And I'm watching TV. I start watching this Netflix show. And all of a sudden I feel a Braxton Hick, you know, like a contraction. I'm like, okay, well, maybe the membrane sweep is like, you know, I'm getting crampy because that's what can happen. About 8 minutes later, I get another one. I'm like, okay, you know, all right. 8, you know, again, about 7-8 minutes, like clockwork, I get another one. I'm like, okay, I haven't had a bloody show. You know, I didn't lose my mucus plug. My water hasn't broke. Is this just that, you know, fake labor again? So at this point, I've had probably 4 within 20 minutes. Okay. And I'm like, I'm going to curl my hair. So I take my stability ball, my birth ball into the bathroom. I'm curling my hair while I'm bouncing on my ball. And in my head, I'm just singing, I'm just a girl, like the Gwen Stefani No Doubt song. Because I'm like, this is so like girl coded. You know, I might be contracting, might be going into labor. And I'm like curling my hair on my birth ball in my bathroom. Like kind of iconic. I wish I would have gotten a video. But I didn't want to video it because I was like, this is going to be embarrassing if it doesn't happen. So here I am. All of a sudden, it's been like, let's see, it's probably been about 45 minutes to an hour. I've contracted every 6 to 8 minutes. I texted Wyatt and I was using a contraction counter. I texted Wyatt. I'm like, just so you know, I've been counting my contractions. Like I said it so nonchalantly because I was just so prepared for it to just like stop again. So he didn't get my text. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to continue to sit here. I end up pumping. Okay. I pumped for about 15 minutes. And then I went back in and finished my hair. Came back out. And by this point, Wyatt texted me back, are you serious? You know, I said, yeah. He's putting the kids down. I go upstairs to help put the kids down. And I'm walking up the stairs. I get a contraction. You know, at this point again, I'm like, is it a Braxton Hick? I don't know. It takes me out. Meaning like I have to hunch over. And I'm like, oh fuck. oh, fuck. When my girls tell me, when you know, you'll fucking know, I was knowing. Do you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, shit. So I went upstairs. This is like 2 minutes later. I get upstairs to Maddox's room. Like, literally, it was like instantaneously later. I get up to Maddox's room to tell him goodnight, and it takes me down again. I have to sit on his bed. Wyatt's like, are you having a contraction? I was like, I don't know. I don't want to go to the hospital and have them like turn me around because it's a 30-minute drive. I'm like, let's just get the kids down first. I remember telling him that. Let's just get the kids down first. He's like, get the fucking kids down. We need to go. I was like, no, just relax. Just let's get the kids down. I want to say goodnight to them, whatever. At this point, I still didn't think I was going to go to the hospital. Like, I didn't really say goodbye to the kids in a way where I was like emotional even. But also, I think after the second kid, you realize how much of a blessing siblings are. And it's not as emotional to like say goodbye to then bring home another sibling, because it's just more exciting because you know how special it is. So I knew that I was like kind of going to be okay. So we put the kids down. While I'm upstairs, I'm talking, it's like maybe 7 minutes. I had about 2 contractions, 2 or 3, as I was heading downstairs. And again, I had to go to the staircase and like hunch over. So my mom, she has texted me by now, and she's like, I'm on my way. I'm like, fuck, everyone's going to be here, and then my contractions are going to stop, and I'm going to be embarrassed. Not that they would care, but I would care. You know, I'm going to be let down again. I'm going to be pissed off. So I'm bouncing on my ball. My mom walks into my bedroom. She goes, so what's going on? I'm like, well, like I've been, and then Wyatt's like, she's been having contractions for like an hour and a half, and she didn't tell anyone. And blah, blah, blah. I looked at her contraction counter. She's having contractions every like 5 to 6 minutes. He is just freaking out. I was like, I don't know. I haven't had one in like 10 minutes now. I was having a longer stretch. So I was like starting to get frustrated. Wyatt takes a shower, quick shower. And I had another one. My mom's like, are you having one? I was like, yeah. She's like, we need to go. So we're like, okay, so we get everything together. My brother stays with the kids. We start getting in the car. I start filming my TikTok. And we head to the hospital. On the way to the hospital, it was pretty cool because I got to see fireworks on the way there, which was just, it was kind of a cool, like, remembering thing on the highway, because it was obviously July 3rd. So we head to the hospital around 10 o'clock p.m., and I'm doing my makeup in between contractions. And at this point, like, my contractions don't really hurt. You know, I kind of breathe through them, and I'm like, damn, this is easy. Wow, this is easy. I could do this all day. Oh my God, I remember thinking that to myself. I was like, this is not as bad as I remember. Yeah, bitch, you're dumb. Okay, so then we get, we're about 10 minutes out. So we've been driving now for 20 minutes. I get my makeup done. Bitch, I'm telling you, I looked so pretty. Like, I literally looked so pretty. My makeup went on so good. My hair looked fantastic. It was amazing. So we get to the hospital, and we start walking in, and I have another contraction that, I mean, it like hit me. The last 10 minutes of the drive was hard, but like when I got out of the car and had that first contraction, I had to sit in my car, like in my trunk. It hit me. So we walk in. I know at this point I'm contracting every like 3 minutes. Okay. So they wheelchair me up to the room. I walk in. I'm in pain. Like, don't fucking talk to me. I said, Wyatt, get my fucking candle set up. Get the oil diffuser set up. Get the sound machine set up. Do the shit. I got to go take a piss test. They got to start taking blood. I'm starting to get in pain. Like, I'm starting to like get flustered, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is happening. I'm in pain. This is not fun. So I get changed into the delivery gown. At this point, they did ask again to check me just to see where I was currently, because I was exhibiting so much signs of just like progressing very fast. So mind you, we headed there at 10. Right now it's like 10:45. She checks me. I'm at a 6. Bitch, she used the word stretchy again. It must just be like a Midwest thing where I'm at. She called me a stretchy 7 with a bulging sack. Big sack. Huge sack energy, okay? Obviously referring to my amniotic fluid sac, my water, right? So at this point, I mean, dude, I'm not even kidding you. I was getting fucked up, all right? Like, I didn't know how I was going to do this. You guys know my goal, and I was very vocal. My goal was definitely an unmedicated birth. I will be very transparent. Didn't fucking happen, okay? So let me tell you why. So we got there. I got on the bed. I start contracting pretty hard. I'm definitely in a transitional period, right? So you kind of go into like active labor, and then you start to transition into like where it's time to push, right? This was happening very fast, very fucking fast. I told him, I said, take my fucking blood, hurry up, I need medicine. I asked for nitrous oxide, and then I asked for whatever else I could get, maybe a little bit of fentanyl, like I'm talking like a dab, you know, whatever. So that I didn't have to get an epidural or a spinal block. Because I still wanted to like have no intervention down there. But if I could take off a little bit of edge, why not? To me, that's still an unmedicated birth, right? Like you're still feeling it all. You're just taking off a little bit of edge with nitrous oxide before you put something in your spine. So nothing came. Okay. I'm telling you guys, this went so fucking fast that I would have had a car baby if I would have waited 10 more minutes to leave. It was fucking nuts. Okay. And I had so many of you in my comment section like, girl, you better be ready to leave. When it's time to leave, you better go. I have a feeling you're going to go fast. You guys were not lying. Okay. Your intuition was correct. So they hurry up, take my blood. They come back. I can't get an epidural. Okay. Remember guys, when I had a gestational thrombocytopenia, and I told you guys the biggest risk factor, for me, having GT was that I could not get an epidural because it could cause hemorrhaging, and that hemorrhaging could occur in my spine if I got an epidural because of how long an epidural lasts. So what are my other options? Well, I'm telling them, can I have fentanyl? So they check me. They have to cervically check me again. If I'm above an 8, they can't give me fentanyl because it can make the baby very sleepy, okay, upon delivery. So she says, hey, you're at a 9. I was just at a 7 like 45 fucking seconds ago, okay? She said, you're at a 9, your cervix is gone. Do you know what that means, ladies? It means that baby is fucking coming down, okay? When I tell you I could feel it, I could feel them, okay, because at the time I didn't know what it was. I could feel them coming down my birth canal. I'm not kidding you guys. I should have pushed. I should have started pushing. Like the baby was coming out. The baby was fucking coming out. And I was like, I am not doing this unmedicated. I cannot. I do not. I want this to be the birth experience I wanted. And in that moment, I wanted to experience it in bliss. I wanted to be euphoric and I wanted to be proud of what my body did. In that moment, as beautiful and as natural as it was, I wasn't proud. This is not the way I wanted it to go down. It just wasn't. So finally, they get the doctor in. I'm able to get what is kind of basically called a spinal block. Okay, so it's not an epidural. It takes off just a little bit of edge from the waist down because they still do put it in your spine. And the reason I could do that and not the other one, this spinal one only lasts like an hour or 2. So it's very like less lasting. I wish I knew what it was because honestly, if I was any of you guys, I wouldn't ask for an epidural. I would ask for whatever the fuck that was because that was awesome. It was so quick. It was easy. It was not long lasting. Like I was up walking around an hour after I gave birth. Like you know what I mean? I wasn't tied to a bed. I loved the experience. I wish I could have gotten what I got done because I had low blood platelets, they did not give me an epidural. It was something else. So she tells me, hey, you have to sit up to get this done, right? I'm contracting so fucking bad, guys. I should have pushed. I should have been pushing. Like, I swear to God, I was so scared. So by this time, it's 11:10. Mind you, this is only like 30 minutes total probably from getting to the hospital. Maybe 45, maybe 40 minutes. I should have pushed. In this event, if I would not have gotten a spinal block, I would have had her on July 3rd, and that would have pissed me off. That would have pissed me off. At this point, just fully commit to the 4th. You know what I'm saying? So by 11:15, I'm up, I'm sitting, I'm draped over the labor and delivery nurse, and I tell her, I said, so mind you, they're about to poke me in the fucking spine where you cannot move. I said, I'm going to start contracting. Like literally you would have thought I was in a fucking horror movie. Okay. She was like, okay, you got this. You have to be so still. You can do this. Like she was so empowering. She was so sweet. And I was like, I'm not kidding you guys. How I did not move during that contraction. I literally was like, the power of the fucking mind, baby. Okay. So I didn't move at all. They laid me back down on my side and they're like, hey, you have to get to your back because this could then become like lopsided, right? So you have to kind of lay on your back. We have to make sure it hits both your legs. I was contracting so bad. Because mind you, it's not just like, oh, it's in, I'm good. It does take like 35, 40 seconds, a minute, right, for it to really set in. So they're making me turn on my back while I'm contracting. It was the worst pain of my life because all I wanted to do was kind of be like in a fetal position, and I couldn't. They roll me on my back. Within 30 seconds, guys, I saw God, I think. I think I saw what people would call heaven because I felt so amazing. I do not regret my decision for one fucking second of getting a needle put into my back. I will tell you that with so much fucking pride because I had the best experience after that. I was literally laying on my back. I was up a little bit. They put a peanut ball under my legs because I asked. The only thing was I got very itchy. Very itchy. They could have gave me some Benadryl. I said no till like after birth. I was very itchy. So at this point, I literally out loud, everyone's in the room, I say, God damn. And they all look at me, they're freaked out. I said, I feel so good. Mind you, I'm not high. Like this has nothing to do with your body. It's just like your mind and your body. It's just the legs down. Like this is not like a drug, you know? I said, oh my God, I feel so fucking good. And I was literally moving like this. Like you would think I was on ecstasy. I was like, oh, this feels so good. I was fully coherent. That's how much fucking bliss I was in. I could still feel myself contracting, but my body got to just take a break. I was working overtime for almost an hour now, having these more intense contractions. And I just got to breathe and relax for a minute. You know what I mean? So at this point, I could have probably pushed at any minute, but I really wanted to make sure that the baby was able to get down in optimal position where I was almost like laboring down without knowing it. Okay. So I said, hey, let's check me at 12. Give me 40 minutes to just sit here and relax and just relax my mind, my body. And I wanted to make sure that the baby was ready. She checks me at 12. She says I'm at a 10. And again, cervix is gone. I can push. She's like, if you want to push, you can push right now. Again, I said, I'm going to take another 20 minutes. I want to make sure, especially not being able to have full feeling down there. I can definitely feel, but I want to make sure that the baby is down there. Because when you start pushing, when you have an epidural or a spinal block and your body's not ready, that's when you tear. That's when you have no control. That's when you don't know, okay? And a lot of doctors will encourage you, oh, you've hit 10 centimeters, let's push. Don't. Labor down. Let the baby move down naturally, kind of how your intestines move food through naturally. Let the birth canal do the same thing. You know, let the baby come out. It's almost it's called like an ejection reflex that we have literally of like the baby. It will just come out on its own almost. Like look it up. I don't remember what it's called. It's called the like ejection reflex something. It's a name. And because we're built for this, right? So it's 12:20. She comes back in. Mind you, I've just been on cloud 9. But what I do feel is I feel the spinal block already fading away, right? Like it's a quick thing, right? It's not meant to be like an epidural. So I started feeling it fade away and I'm like, fuck, okay, I should probably start pushing. So it's 12:20. She checks. Baby's in, I think it was like station +2, meaning like they're there. They're there. The head is there. Okay. So she's like, okay, let's start pushing. What position you want to be in? What do you want to, whatever. I had my lights going. The lights were off. It was just the most amazing birth environment I could have created for myself that I wanted. And it was because I had it planned out. Like I visualized this shit, guys. Like I manifested this shit, like fucking for real. Like I had a visualization of what I wanted my birth to look like and it came to fruition. Besides the whole unmedicated part. But again, I told you guys, I'm not above an epidural. I'm going to go in there with a goal. And if I don't make it, I don't give a shit. It's all about a healthy baby and a healthy mom at the end of the day. So I ended up starting to push at like 12:20. My contractions were a little bit like shorter at this point in time. So like I didn't have a lot of pushing time. You know what I'm saying? And the biggest thing for me was I don't need this to be a one push wonder. Okay. I don't need to just rip through my fucking perineum and tear from my vagina to my asshole. I need to listen to my body and what it needs and breathe this baby out. That's the biggest thing. You don't push the baby, you breathe the baby. Okay. So during this time, I'm using my breathing techniques and I'm quote unquote pushing, but again, I use it as I'm breathing the baby out. It was about maybe like 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes. Later, I think I started pushing by like 12:23 because they like checked me. They got all their shit prepped, whatever. By the time I pushed 4 times, had her at 12:30. Again, give or take less than 10 minutes pushing for sure. Okay. They checked me at 12:20, got their shit set up, asked me if I was ready to start pushing, got me in position. I ended up pushing from the side lying position, which is the most optimal position to push from. It just opens up the pelvic outlet. It allows the tailbone and the sacrum to kind of relax, giving you more pelvic room so the baby can make their way through. You do have less chance of tearing in this position. So I pushed, like I said, she came out. Didn't know it was a she, obviously. Came out. They showed her to Wyatt, kind of opened up her legs and was like, "It's a girl." And Wyatt goes, "It's a girl?" Like, I didn't hear this, right? They're kind of whispering. And he starts crying. And then she's like, "No, like, take the baby. Like, here, whatever." So then he gave her to me and he was like, "It's a girl." And that's when he started recording because like they didn't really want us to record, but they allowed us to record that part. And so then I was like, "Oh my God," you guys saw my announcement video. I was like, "Oh my God, it's a girl. Like, it's a little girl." And that was the most amazing feeling of my whole fucking life, was the surprise and the redemption of that delivery. Like, part of me is like wanting to cry right now, but I think I just have so much pride in how it went and how I just trusted my body, and I knew my body, and I knew my daughter from the beginning. Like, and it's crazy to say, and I never really vocalized it. I vocalized it here on Brunch with Desb a few times that I did think it was a girl. But you never want to vocalize what you think, especially like when you're in the eyes of like a lot of people. Because number one, if it doesn't happen, it just, it's like, okay, like I was wrong, whatever. That part doesn't matter. But it's the people that then twist it to like, "Oh, so you don't love your son? Oh, so you probably so you wouldn't love a boy." It's like, suck my dick. Again, suck a dick, But so I didn't like vocalize it too much because it's just, it's my own personal thoughts and it doesn't matter, But I knew from the beginning that it was a girl. Like, I just knew it. I manifested it. I even said it. Again, it was September 6th of 2022. I have a note in my phone. It was after I got out of a facial with my esthetician, and I told her, I said, if I have another baby, it's going to be my third, and it's going to be healthy, it's going to be great, and it's going to be a girl. And I remember that conversation with her so vividly. And so when I got out of my appointment, that's when I made that note. And I said, if I have I'm manifesting, I think I said, I'm speaking into existence. When I have my third baby, it's going to be a healthy baby girl or something like that. And so it's like, I just felt so connected because it was like, I knew her from the beginning. Like, I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. And a part of me, obviously throughout the experience of pregnancy, I didn't want to believe it because I didn't want to be, for some reason, let down, right? Like, I think that was my biggest fear, is like, I don't want to be like mad, and no matter what, I wouldn't have been, but I just didn't even want to entertain those thoughts. And so when she was put on my chest, I was just like, I literally, the whole first like week, even postpartum, Wyatt and I felt like we were saying like when we said her and like she, they literally felt wrong. Like, I was like, are we lying? Like, are we sure? It was the most surreal. I just couldn't believe it. My dream would be to have 2 boys and a girl. And I am living my dream, and it's just so fucking special. And I'm so grateful. So to finish up the delivery, she's on my chest. I get this time with her. Like, they didn't whisk her away. They didn't even weigh her or like take her from me for like over an hour. Like, I just got to have her on my chest, and I've never really had that experience. I never did, period. I never really had it. I never did. And she was just on me, and like, I just got to hold her and look at her and just be in awe and talk to my mom and Wyatt. And I just felt so happy. I was on cloud 9. I was in no pain. It was so fucking amazing. Like, even pushing her out was so easy. Everything was just so easy. It was amazing. I remember telling my mom and Wyatt, like, if this is how every birth was, like, I would have 10 kids, like, it was amazing. And there's quite a few other like funny parts of delivery that, you know, Wyatt would maybe want to speak on. So I don't want to ruin like some of the funny moments of just me being fucking chaotic in labor. But when he comes back on, like I do want to touch on his experience of finding out the gender and stuff too. So I'll wait for a few more details with that. But I ended up having the placenta come out normal. So like I birthed my placenta. And if you guys didn't know, I had a retained placenta last time with Archie. So I had to go to the OR for them to get it out because it was in me for over an hour, and that's like not good. So it came out normal. I got to see it. I'd never had seen my placentas before, ever. I got photos of it. It was amazing, gorgeous, so cool. And yeah, then she checked me for tears or anything. She's like, you have nothing. Like you have nothing. Yeah, like you're good, you know, whatever. And it was just so affirming that everything I did with the intention of exactly what I wanted. It was that birth. So I recovered great. I will give you guys an update fully on like postpartum recovery, kind of what I did. I want that to be kind of a separate episode, so I'm not, you know, yapping forever. But it was so redemptive. It was so special. The kids meeting her was so special. Naming her was hard. I will end on that story. Naming her was hard. And again, Wyatt, when he comes on, he'll want to talk a little bit about that too. But we were back and forth between a few names. And I do want to share our name list with you guys because we're done. You know what I mean? We're done with kids. I want to share our names that we were going to pick. But we were in between Eleonora and Vienna. I loved Vienna. I've always loved Eleonora. That was one of our first names ever for a daughter, like back in 2019, Eleonora. I just outgrew it. You know, I was like, I don't want to give her like an 80-year-old name. So it wasn't my favorite anymore, but Wyatt still loved it. Eleonora or Vienna. He kept making fun of me because Vienna sausages. I was like, fuck off. I think of this song by Billy Joel, whatever. So here we are. We're fighting over this for almost 36 hours. And we're like, we need to create a name. Our nurse comes in. She talks to us. She gives us some like pieces of advice. And she's like, if you're just going to name a baby something and you're going to end up calling them a nickname, if it makes sense, just call them the nickname, you know? So for example, Eleonora, what would we end up calling her? Probably Elle. Do we want that as a name? No, you know? So it's like, okay, then what do we do? So we end up coming across the idea of just like Eleonora, V, Vienna, E, V. And then we heard of a name Evelyn. They called her Evie. And then of course, we thought, again, Eleonora, Vienna, E, V, Evie. And then we don't even call her a nickname. Like I've tried, like I'm like, do I want to call her E? Do I want to say V? And it doesn't even feel right. Like I'm like, no, like her name is it's just Evie. There's no nickname for that. It's kind of like Maddox. What are we going to call him? Matt? Tix? You know, it's like, no, it's just Maddox. And I like that. So it's just Evie. And we were like, went to bed and we're like, Evie. We wrote it out. We wrote it on pieces of paper, whiteboards. Evie. So Evie Pfeiffer. Evie Marie. Marie is my mom's middle name. Evie Marie Pfeiffer. So she was born 7.7 pounds. So she was smaller than Archie. Archie was 7'12". She was 7.7. She was 20 inches. Archie was 19. Maddox was 16. Maddox was 4 pounds. Archie was 7'12". She was 7'7". And 20 inches, 12:30, July 4th. We went to bed hearing the sound of fireworks postpartum in the postpartum delivery unit. The nurses were just fantastic. I had such a great experience. And I could go on and on and on and on and on. And just the pieces of me that will remember this birth are so special because it was so, I cannot think of another word other than redemptive. You know, like it was just me versus me and my body telling me like, you were made for this and you did amazing, you know? And it was so peaceful and I recovered amazing. And again, it's something I want to continue to get into, like talk about postpartum recovery, bring Wyatt on, talk about the transition from 2 to 3 XYZ, but it was just so special. So if you're due next, know that you're made for this no matter what. You don't get a golden trophy for going unmedicated. And if it's for you, it's for you. I do not want to take that away. I did it before. I did it with Archie, but I just didn't want to do it again. So don't, do your own research, have your own beliefs, have your own more like 100%. I'm just saying, if you're in the position of feeling uncomfortable, and that's something you want to do, it doesn't take away from the power that your body has. You know, like you still did that. You still fucking did that. And for me, I got exactly what I wanted. And I had a great fucking time. So that's all for today's episode. Honestly, just like cut dry to the point. I wanted you guys to have this birth story. I wanted to record it so I could look back on it. Again, so many like small, funny memories that Wyatt and I will probably continue to recap as we talk to you guys in a future episode. I hope you also liked last week's episode with our game. A lot of you guys had some really good feedback for that, having fun with us. So we'll have to bring it back. But happy Sunday. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me and my family through this last experience. It was so healing, so special. And I can't wait to continue to share more, you know, but for the sake of today, that's what I wanted to come on here and made sure I had recorded and share with you guys. So give this video a thumbs up if you're on YouTube, subscribe, share this with a friend, tell them, hey bitch, get the epidural. Who gives a fuck? Okay. Get the spinal block, get whatever you can. No shame in my game. Okay. I had a great delivery. And if you guys are wondering, oh my God, how did you not even tear? How did you, whatever? I had to hold the crown. Okay. Like contraction 3, I pushed where I was crowning and I had to hold that until I could push again. And I still didn't tear. Okay. And she had a big, nice head. She had a big, round, beautiful head. So let me tell you that. I hope you guys have a great day. Happy Sunday. I love y'all. Mwah. And welcome back to me being skinny.